And welcome to Love Always Self. I'm Shira.
Hi, y'all. I'm Karista, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Always Self.
Hi.
And welcome. All you new listeners, thank you so much for being here. And all you old listeners, thank you for being here as well. And just we appreciate the fact that you keep coming back. And that right there is supporting us in continuing to want to do this, to continue to support us. Also, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and get notifications.
Notification bell.
For our
Yay.
future episodes.
It actually helps us grow. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are helping our dreams come true.
And the algorithm.
And that was actually my segue into our topic today of dreaming. So I just wanted to bring this up because this has been something on my mind the past couple of days. I'm in my final year of my 30s. We've got the 40s ahead of me. And I was just really thinking about, like, how do I want my next 10 years? How do I want that to look like?
Yeah.
What do I want to feel? How do I want to experience it? And I don't know about you, but I remember when I was a kid, like in middle school and high school, I'd write out like, in 5 years, I'm going to do this. In 10 years, I'm going to do this. By the age of 24, I'm going to do this, and I had everything, maybe not everything mapped out and detailed, but I had lots of big dreams. And what I've noticed over the past, I don't know, like 10 years or so at least, I've really lost sight of daydreaming about my future.
I know it's like we talk about the staying present quite a bit and how that does help with a lot of different things, but it's still being able to like create and go towards that creation. Dreaming is a big factor in that. Dreaming about the future is a big factor of that.
Yeah, it's not realistic to stay present in the moment all the time, nor is that really the goal, because there's a balance, right? Like, we still want to be able to daydream about the future so that we can put things into action to create that future.
It's like goal setting.
Right. And then even those action steps, like, how do you reach that goal? So, like, if you wanted to get a master's degree in something, like, you don't just wake up one day and enroll in a master's program. Like, there are requirements before you ever get there.
Right.
And so if you have a big dream, there are probably smaller steps that need to happen to be able to reach that dream. So that's kind of what I was just like bringing up today is how often do you dream? And I'm not just talking about at nighttime.
A sleep dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a work in progress. I'm trying to remember. That is something that I started about 10 days ago, where I wake up first thing in the morning is I go and I grab my journal and I try and write down any memories that I have from the dream, any feelings that are residual from coming out of that sleep state, and then also like my first thoughts. Because I'm curious what those patterns are and if I'm missing messages through my dreams.
Well, we definitely get a lot of messages through our dreams, but back to at least what you're dreaming about in the non-sleep way. What you got there on that notepad on the, the side?
So this weekend, like I said, every day I've been trying to get up and write first thing in the morning, but I've also been journaling in the evening time as well, just touching base with my feelings throughout the day and just kind of like evaluating how I've been doing. And one of the things that came to me during one of my journaling sessions was about dreaming. And so I'm going to share with you just a quick journal entry. I want to figure out what I want to do with the next 10 years of my life. I need to do some dreaming, detailing the dream, and then plan it and action step it. Do I really want to create a co-op with friends? Do I see myself podcasting, nursing, decorating, hosting a retreat or wedding venue, acting? What is it that I want to experience? Shamanism, energy healing, astrology, plant medicine, foraging, wilderness training? How do I want to feel in 10 years? Accomplished, giving, caring, loving and loved, like I gave back and gave to others, contributed to the betterment of society, and worked hard for what I wanted? Continued learning, discovering, reading, trying new foods and new things, meeting new people, experiencing new places. It's time to dream, consider, and create. And so one of the things that I think is really important in this is when we dream, that is a part of manifestation.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And so if we're not taking an active role in that, are we just allowing things to manifest, or are we putting effort into what we bring into our lives?
Well, loaded question. Loaded question. So I want to talk about your list right quick because, by the way, beautifully written.
Thank you.
I've got to do better about the journaling. So on your list, I was expecting to hear the word travel and
Experience new places.
experience new places.
It's on there.
I know. And so I was listening for the word travel because I know how much you love travel. And when you said experience new places, I was like, ooh, I bet she's visualizing what those places look like. Like while you were doing that.
Yeah, and feel and just like the air of the culture around you, because every place is different. Every place has different vibrations, and that's maybe colored by the history of people, the history of societies being created, and even, I'd say ancient humans and their travel and their experiences as well. And then on top of that, what Mother Earth has in store for that place.
Right. Well, and that was the part where I wanted to just hone in on that particular aspect of what you wrote, just because I think it's very prevalent when you are creating a plan to travel somewhere. You usually have a thought or a wish on how you want to feel when you go to that place. And that helps you determine where you're going.
Or what you're going to do.
Or what you're going to do, right. I want to, travel to Spain. And this was one that my beautiful husband brought up, but he was like, maybe we should go hiking when we go to Spain. And I'm like, that's not my version of vacationing, right? And there's no wrong or right answer to that. It could be somebody else's. But I'm like, no, I want to see the beach, or I want to feel the sand in my toes and see crystal clear blue water. And I want to feel this breeze in my hair. And like, I'm dreaming or daydreaming about how it's going to feel when I'm in that location. And that helps me navigate. We want to go to this part of Spain and we want to book the flight to get to this location, and it's going to cost about this much money. So we got to plan for that. So all of a sudden this dream is actually becoming a reality with the actions that we always talk about when it comes to manifesting. And so that's why I wanted to pull that example out, because it's such a good example of bringing your dreams into reality.
And one of the key words that really covers a lot of that is setting intentions for that trip.
Yeah.
And so with this big dream of how do I want the next 10 years to look like?
Yeah.
It's about setting intentions. I am setting an intention to create my rich life, so to speak.
Right.
And that's a really good show if you haven't watched it on Netflix.
Such a good show.
And what that looks like and what that feels like. And there's a lot of like subjects, that I would like to incorporate into my practices, or at least just understand, because I have a huge level of curiosity. And so it's, how do I incorporate that, and how am I going to use that? Like with astrology, I like talking about it. I am curious about being able to give readings. But with plant medicine, am I really looking to share that information with others and teach people, or am I curious about it just for myself?
Right.
Like the foraging or wilderness training.
That was a new one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, like learning how to MacGyver stuff in the middle of nowhere. Like, I think that skill sounds really cool to have.
That is a really cool skill to have.
Especially if everything hits the fan.
I was thinking about your list as well, and I was pondering in my head about part of your list was question marks on what you're interested in and what you might not be interested in. And so my thought process went to, should you just try the things that you have the interest in to discover whether or not you actually want to stay interested in it?
I think that ideally that would be great.
Yeah.
But things like acting, right?
Right.
It's not that easy to just go out and get like a commercial role, like, because that's what I think that'd be cool to be in like a commercial.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do a Marvel movie, but like
Why not?
if that opportunity arose, I would definitely like give it a good shot. But
As long as Chris Hemsworth is there and I can be there just to cheer you on in the background and then maybe touch his shoulder. Just saying.
just smell the air around him. But that's not always feasible. Like, okay, being able to fly a plane.
Yeah, but you were actually actively taking
I didn't not classes. I did an intro class. So like there are ways to try things out, but are you really getting, let me give you another example. Nursing.
Well,
You can't just try it out
It's
without
true.
a couple years of education.
speaking from experience there, yes.
So wanting to try to test things out to see if it would work for you, it's not always feasible.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that there was a few dreams that I know I have that I not sleep dream again, just daydreams that I have. And one of them experiencing new places that I've never been to. That was literally the reason I got the job that I have now. One of the ones that I still weigh back and forth with is I want to help people experience or receive answers from those that are no longer here. And I have the ability to do that, but I don't know if that's the path that I want to take. And I'm still undetermined on that, which is why we've never launched that. And so it's kind of like I've tried it, I've experienced it, I know I can do it, but is that really what I want to do? Right.
And that's part of the dreaming is like, taking time to actually dream in greater detail about these possibilities to kind of evaluate how would that feel to me?
Yeah.
Do I really see myself offering this up on a regular basis? Or is it possible that I haven't done that yet because I don't have any time and space to do that in the first place?
Well, there's that. That's a big one.
Right.
That's always a big one.
And so I think this is, what has been hard for me in the realm of dreaming up life goals and what I want in the future has been the limitations that life poses or what seems to be limitations. I have to daydream within, this financial means.
Right.
And I at least have to make this much money. And so can I really daydream on making a career shift or bringing in a new hobby? And so there are limitations, but I'm talking about dreaming outside of those limitations, becoming illogical with your dreams.
Yeah.
Because logic, while in some form it does make sense, we are not limited to just human logic.
That's huge. And that's huge because that is so true. We're not limited with that. And I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but I want to say, and maybe that's the tap on the shoulder that you and I talked about before we hit record today, but I want to say that I keep getting this knowledge that somewhere within the realms of possibilities or, dimensions or whatever you want to call it, what you're dreaming about is already playing out. And there has to be some kind of a shift in focus in order to perceive it.
You know what? You just reminded me that we can tap into those different dimensions and different realities when using when entering daydreaming mode, we can actually try to tap into those to really maybe evaluate from a higher level or higher self point of view in how this would be supportive of creating your rich life.
Yeah, absolutely it would. And there's always astral travel. Like if you want to dive into and practice astral travel, you can astral travel into those realities and experience them for yourself. I've never done that. I've heard many stories about it.
I've also heard it's important to ground yourself in this body.
And experience what you came here to experience,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason for your experiences and the way that they're happening and the way that they're playing out and all the lessons that you're learning along the way while doing it, for sure. And so, yeah, I'm talking about like very small moments in time and not spending every day trying to be somewhere else, because that's not also realistic. Although I would venture out to say that AI is trying to make that possible very quickly. But yeah, I definitely feel like if we are to become these dreamers of and creators and taking those dreams to that next level, but also stay within the, you know, well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say stay within the limitations of what's actually possible, because that's not accurate. That's not a correct statement at all. But taking your what you thought was impossible and making it possible. That's where I wanted to say that.
Dream the impossible.
Right. And who is determining what's impossible for you?
Generally, we do.
Yes. We as in the human race.
As our individual selves,
Yeah,
we put limitations on ourselves and our dreams.
we do.
Now, I'm not saying other people don't add to that, like in your lives.
They do. And there are so many like stories and advice that, you know, people give you, and they're like, when you have a dream, don't tell anybody about it, because if you tell people, they'll find ways to break it down for you and like tell you, no, that's not realistic, you know? And
They're a bunch of bubble poppers.
and in those cases, those are true. But, you know, I would challenge those that are having those types of conversations and you decide to share a big dream that you have in your head. And I do this all the time with my poor husband. Every time I want to like do something different with the house, I'm like, oh, could you just imagine it could look like this if we did this and we changed this and maybe rebuild the back deck and do all these fun things. And for me, I'm in my dream state, right? I'm having this imagination running wild of all the possibilities, whether it's feasible financially at this point in time or not. I'm running with that. And so somebody that you're talking to that's a little bit more logical or leans on the logic, right? Then they'll come back and they'll say, you know, whoa, we can't do that right now, you know? And so I think when people say don't tell people your dreams and stuff like that, I think they're saying, oh, you don't want that bubble popped. And if you do have your bubble pop, you'll lose the enthusiasm towards what you're trying to, you know, dream about.
And so I don't think we should be necessarily afraid to tell people about our dreams, but as people receiving dreams, let's be supportive.
Exactly.
Let's say, hell yeah, you get it.
That's amazing.
That sounds like
Wow.
a great time.
I jump into that dream.
Yeah. Yeah. You do that for me.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good. I know. We'll be your cheerleaders too. So comment below. What are you dreaming about?
Yes, I love that. What do you want to bring into your life? What do you want to dream about and create into your reality? What does your rich life look like?
And I think that sharing your dreams and especially writing them out puts so much intention behind it that it helps that manifestation period little wheel move a little faster over and over again.
That is a valid point. You're right.
Yeah.
When we speak, we are literally like creating a spell, putting the intention out into the world.
Yes.
It is an active part of manifestation.
Yeah. And that I love the whole like your thoughts create your reality. And I love that saying because you're like, okay, if my thoughts are creating my reality, if what I'm thinking about does have an impact, then what happens when I intentionally pick up a pen and paper and then I intentionally decide to write this entire thing down? And then after that, even I intentionally decide to speak it out. And now you're just like on intention and intention and intention. And it's like a perpetual thing, right?
Yeah.
Or perpetuating thing.
Like a biofeedback loop kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, manifestation is happening all the time. It's just unconscious manifestation. So really this is about creating consciously what you want to experience.
Yeah. I love that.
All right.
Are we at that stage of our episode?
We are. It is time for the collective card reading. And today we are going to be using Chris Ann's Light Seers Tarot deck and guidebook.
The book.
So the first card today, it is upside down.
Oh, you knew it. You said it before. So
It's the Hermit. I'm going to turn it right side up so you can actually see it on the screen.
I do want to mention, actually, I've not received this card before. I do want to mention that when I was shuffling for this card, I got I was actually doing my light protection bubble while shuffling. And then I heard very loud and clear, past, present, future. And that was a very clear message. I've never received this card before, so we can go off of like some intuitive hits here because this is a cool looking card. Not going to lie about that. But I do want to see what it is for the upside down aspect of it. I feel like it's going to be important.
Yeah. So this card is number 9, the Hermit. And this one, it kind of reminds me of a dream state a little bit. So it looks like there's a young girl sitting up. It almost looks like she's floating above this like staircase, this rock staircase path into the mountains. And this really makes me think of like going inward, doing that dreaming, doing that, that self-discovery of within. So the Hermit to me is really, it kind of symbolizes like the crab, like Cancer in astrology. And so that's like about going in and discovering and having that quiet time, creating that peace around you externally and internally, and just really find that nurturing space within yourself.
Yeah. I like this because when I was doing my PLR, I saw myself traveling through what looked like a wormhole in space. And I was sitting like this, like the card is representing.
So she's like sitting almost crisscross applesauce, but knees are like being hugged.
Right. Chest. And she is like this little ball of light, like almost like is she holding light? No. Okay.
It's like emanating from behind her, around her.
Yeah, that's super cool. And so it kind of reminded me of that, which is very interesting because this is a past card. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking of a past life regression that I did. And so that's wild. Okay. Let's see. You want to see what the book says? You were so on the money, Carrie. So inner reflection, meditation, contemplation, soul searching, inner wisdom, spiritual mentor, finding your guide within, taking time away from the chaos of a busy life, hermiting. Because this was presented to us upside down, and I don't normally read the shadows, but I feel like it's important.
So I'm going to make a guess at that really quick.
Okay, go for it.
With it being upside down, it's been the opposite of that. As far as it's been in the chaos, in the go, not necessarily with the flow, not the natural flow, but maybe the human created flow of society, encouraging us to swim upstream constantly and ignoring the fact that nature's working all around us to carry us gently down the life of river, so to speak. And so this is upside down. It would say that you haven't done this enough. You haven't taken time to reflect inward, to find that quiet space, to feel that peace and create that balance.
I like that. I like that a lot. So withdrawing from society, isolation, loneliness, forever seeking without healing, feeling like a misfit. Very interesting.
So, we talk about the positive aspect of quiet time. Yes. So this is the negative aspect, I guess, of maybe somebody that gets too much alone time and is feeling lonely.
Yeah. I feel like with this being told to us that this was something in like that's a past, and your past is, and please see our previous episode, but your past affects your present all the time. And you can continue with the stories that you're telling yourself based on historical data banks in your cells and in your memory, right? So choosing in the past to feel isolated, to stay in this more misfit state, but you really have this option to remove yourself from that at any point in time. I know I've done it. I've done a lot of hermiting over the last several years. I think the COVID really had me comfortable in that space where I wasn't required to do much else besides my job and go downstairs and eat, maybe hit the backyard a bit, right? And I loved every minute of it because I never had any of that downtime. I was very active in my social life before that. And so, however, I created a pattern from that, even though it's been long past, I've created a pattern from that. And so by me now starting to step out of those types of things, I'm now experiencing a lot of relationships and personal growth from being able to get out and about and do things and not being isolated all the time. And it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful thing to do. So anyway, just a little advice there.
When you were talking, the one word that kept coming up in my mind was this feeling of separation.
Yeah,
So that was in the past.
I love it. What we got?
Card number 2.
And this is present.
Present. 21, the world. This is a beautiful card. Again, flower of life in the middle. There are several pieces of sacred geometry on each corner of the card. In the background, there's like a brighter blue towards the bottom with a brighter green gradient towards the top. In the middle of a card, there's a nice big circle surrounding this light flower of life. And there is a woman, it looks like she's like dancing, just happy, like maybe just walking through the park, staring up at the trees and the sun and just really appreciating being in nature is what I'm getting. And I love her dress because it's rainbow. And I was just thinking, you asked me the other day what my favorite color was, and I gave you one color, but then I was like, no, my favorite color is the rainbow.
It's all the colors. All the colors.
So I really feel in this one, it's about connecting with Gaia, with Mother Earth, and with everything and every being on Mother Earth, and realizing that none of us are separate and that we are all one. And we are literally sharing biofeedback loops with each and every person, thing, and our planet.
I love that. And I definitely, on the intuitive hit side, not in the book, my thoughts are telling me that we are stepping into a current phase of this planet of a lot more people being enlightened. And when I say enlightened, I'm not referring to like, I see dead people all the time everywhere. Like, no. I'm talking about your awareness is being opened to things that have been perceived as just magical or fake in the past, right? So your awareness is being open to a lot of information that maybe you didn't know that you didn't have at some point, right? If people are awakening to their abilities, all these things that we as humans have always just had.
To our connectedness. I mean, there are so many different like scientific studies that are happening.
Oh my gosh.
That are confirming these spiritual theories.
I know. And they're talking about dimensions now and like all these fun factors. And some of it is coming with sadness, right? There are quite a bit of things that are being shined from the shadow into the light. And I think that that's something that was meant to always happen. I think we were here to play a part in assisting with this.
Absolutely. And that's a tough one when sucky things come to light.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good, but at the same time, unless we bring it into the light and learn about it and become aware about it, we can't do a whole lot about it.
Exactly.
Oh yes. The
book. All right. So this one was flipped in the right direction. So we're just going to stick with that. And so completion, joy, wholeness, achievement, happy endings, abundance. Oh, we were talking about that. Success, new levels of consciousness, literally traveling the world.
If you couldn't tell, she just bounced in her seat.
I did.
It was pretty cute. Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of travel, but we don't have to go to these far places to really be open to experiencing the world around us.
I mean, just the retreat we went on. It was just from Texas to South Carolina. That's not a big trip, but the experience itself was so grand.
Absolutely, it was. It doesn't even cover it.
It really does.
All right, future card number 3. strength.
Oh, beautiful.
So this woman, I love this. So she's standing there. She's got her left arm over her head, just kind of like sitting on the top of her head. She has a tattoo of the infinity symbol. The left side of her face is of a lion or lioness. Lion? Lion, because it has a mane. And she is wearing a necklace with a heart around it, and in front of her is the lamb. And so this really like reminds me of one of the old Bible stories from when I was a kid of the lion and the lamb, and just the amount of strength that it takes to be a protector and be a nurturer. And it's like I see balance in this, and then also strength doesn't necessarily mean physical strength, but it can also mean like love as a strength.
Yeah.
And kindness and compassion. Like those are all different types of strength.
I agree. I think this is a really beautiful card because you've got the gentleness and this grace along with the strength. And like what you just said, you don't have to be an aggressive person to be strong. Strength doesn't have to mean aggressive, I think is what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't necessarily have to mean like power or power hungry, or you're right. It doesn't have to mean physical strength.
Right, right.
I don't remember the story very well, but I just remember that all the animals were communing together, that they weren't fighting for space or fighting each other. And so I know we haven't done the book yet, but I'm just seeing like this past, present, future of feeling separate, feeling together, and then having strength together.
Yeah. And we are infinite beings. And so I'm really connected to the infinity symbol, see our logo, and the tattoo that I'm looking at. And I really do feel that with us being the infinite creators and infinite beings that we are, that we have so many opportunities in the future to be strong within one another. And I don't know why I'm paying very close attention to the little lamb sitting there on her like a pet that she's petting, but it's so graceful and beautiful and comfortable, right? And I always think of like sleep when I see lambs, you know, like or like a sheep jumping over a fence and counting that. And I just see this like necklace that is at
It's a
heart, even better, right? And so you've got a lamb that's very subtle and is normally prey to something like a lion, and yet they're in one place here. And I just think that's super cool.
When we're strong, it's our duty to help those that are weak.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
And it makes me sad that people take that as like, why do I have to help the less fortunate? And that just makes me so mad. Like some people have such a financially rich life.
Yeah.
And I think it's just greed makes me upset.
Yeah. Greed is it's a very low vibrational way to be, and honest. And a lot of our problems in this world are stemmed from greed.
I've actually believed for many years, probably several decades, that greed will be the downfall to our society.
Yeah. And it sure as heck can be. But it'll be up to people that are seeking more of that open awareness and that light, those that are counteracting that, to step forward and to stand within your own power, your own personal power.
Greed is definitely not shrinking the gap. All right, what's in the guidebook?
In the book. Courage, calmness, quiet strength, influence, graceful leadership, gifted healer, purity of thought and heart, spiritual matters, compassion, sometimes lust or animal instinct. I didn't see that last part coming. And then there's an affirmation you can use. I deliberately bring my compassion and strength forward, and I use them for good.
You know what we haven't seen? I don't know if we haven't seen in a long time is a graceful leader.
This is true. We haven't. Because just when you think they're graceful, they like pop out and they're like, surprise.
Clown show.
Gotcha. I tricked you.
Well, thanks for, hanging around for my little dream chat. Just want to encourage you guys to really take some of these questions and dream.
Yeah. Dream big. Keep going.
Just ask, what do you see yourself doing? How do you want to feel? What is it that you want to experience? And then add detail and start creating.
Well, I tell you what, Care Bear, one of my details that I'd like to start creating is a growth in our channel even further than where it's at. So speaking of, hit that like, subscribe, notification bells. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. And, we have social media. So if you like more of that short form content, please check us out at Love Always Self, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I didn't put the TikTok logo in here because, haven't gotten to it yet. Showing myself a little bit of grace. We have a website and you can see all of our tarot decks and oracle decks on our website, on our Amazon shop. And yes, we get a little kickback for that. So it just helps us grow even further and helps support our channel. And we appreciate you for using it.
And just FYI, any kickback that we get is going straight back to the cost of
it is
creating the podcast. We don't make anything.
It's not free.
No.
It's not free.
We receive the energetic love.
Always and forever. Well, we hope you had a wonderful day and a wonderful evening and a wonderful morning or, a wonderful week, year. Let's keep dreaming towards that goal. Awesome.
We are the creators of our reality.
Yes, we are.
Let's keep dreaming and let's keep creating.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
And don't forget to love first.
Love last.
And love always. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shira.
And until next time, remember to love first,
love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.